How's it going, everyone? I'm Josh from Elder Drunken Highlander, and this is our deck tech video for what may possibly be the most ridiculous pile of jank that has ever been featured on this channel. That deck is Prismatic Piper Storm, aka Pipers on the Storm. Yeah, you heard me right. Prismatic Piper Storm. This deck is fucking hilarious. It gets even better when you realize the color we pick for our Piper has to be white every time. Turns out the white version of the Prismatic Piper cycle was actually the busted version for once. This deck is the brainchild of Kevin, one of the other members of our channel. If you like the deck, make sure you pop into the Discord and let him know. The idea for this deck came about when we were trying to brainstorm some way to make the Prismatic Piper good. We decided the way to do this would be to make it a necessary combo piece. We thought on a whole bunch of different ways to do that, but ultimately couldn't come up with anything meaningful that wasn't just a worse version of an existing combo. We wanted this deck to do something only the Prismatic Piper could do. One day, after I had basically given up on the deck, I got a phone call from Kevin. He had solved it. The solution was Stormfront Riders. Normally, I save this part for the middle, but let's get comboluted and break this thing down right now because I'm just so goddamn excited about it. The crux of this combo is that the Prismatic Piper is a colorless white card. This means we can use white cost reducers such as Pearl Medallion to reduce this guy's cost to 0 and Stormfront Riders' cost to 1. From there, we can spam cast our Piper and the Riders into any number of outlets to win the game. Let's break it down. Start with enough cost reducers to get yourself a free Piper. This can be done using clones and our plethora of redundant effects. Then, cast that Pipey boy and spend a white to get yourself a Stormfront Riders. They enter the battlefield and return themselves and the Piper, getting us a token. Then, we can either use the mana from Phyrexian Altar sacrificing that token, or from Honor-Worn Sheku and Chromatic Orrery to recast the Riders with colorless mana. From there, we can win with Mill from Altar of the Brood, Bounce from Tidespout Tyrant, Hasty Tokens from Crashing Drawbridge, or with infinite mana by having both our Altar and our Sheku out at the same time, which we can then dump into spells like Mercurial Pretender or Sphinx's Revelation to do dumb infinite things. Just get infinite colorless with the Sheku, and then sack and recast Piper to get infinite colors from the Altar. That way, you can also win with Echo Storm. Basically, once you get Pipers in the Storm rolling, there's so many different ways to win, you can pretty much do whatever the heck you want. Okay, that's cool and all, but how do we get there? And what the heck is in the rest of the deck? Good question, hypothetical viewer. Let's take a look at our game plan and strategies. Before we get into that though, I just want to remind you to subscribe to our channel, join our Discord, and check out our other links below to our social media and Patreon. We put out a lot of content besides just our videos, so if you like what we do, you should check out them links. Start your game by looking to keep opening hands that let you find a cost reducer, a clone, and can produce enough mana to get the ball rolling. You may also want to look to find interaction or protection in your opener if you think there is a deck at the table that could be aggressive early. You may need to use your clones for defense, or to buy yourself some time by cloning opposing creatures and stealing some of your opponent's strategies for yourself. Once we feel comfortable, we can start searching up cost reducers and counting to the number 5. Then, we can cast our free Piper and go to town. Pipers on the Storm, if you will. Into this board they're born, into this deck they're thrown. Like a card without a home, shapeshifter on a clone, Pipers on the Storm. Yeah! If I say our Crashing Drawbridge is the Doors, does this count as a theme deck? I guess Door of Destinies could work as an outlet too. IDK. Personally, I think this deck is rather unique. It could be counted as a break on through the EDH meta. I mean, sure, Pipers are strange, but personally I think that they really light my fire. I love this deck madly. Geez, I could make Doors references all day. They even have a song called The Changeling, and that's just too easy. Just make sure when we swing out with our Door Bridge we don't get blown out by a Peace Frog. Alright, maybe that last one was a bit of a stretch. Kinda like this deck, to be honest. If for some reason we can't storm off though, we have plenty of other ways to win. Clones, mainly. Sakashima allows us to build an army of our opponent's commanders. With no legend rule, we can do dumb shit like having 3 flying sharks or multiple Tymnas. This generally kills people. We also have everyone's favorite 1-card win con and Rite of Replication, which can get us a bunch of the best thing on the board. Seems good. By using the Immortal Sun to make our cloned creatures stronger than the originals, we can overpower our foes by having stronger versions of their own creatures. Oh, and we get like all the other effects of the Immortal Sun too, which is also nice. This play experience can be frustrating for the other side of the table, especially when you say, anything you can do, I can do better, as you resolve the third 5/5 Beledros Witherbloom and dump all your mana into a Sphinx's Revelation. Lastly, and most spicily, we can use our cost reducers with buyback spells to spam them to our heart's content. This means we even have a backup combo line of our cost reducers, Phyrexian Altar, Altar of the Brood, and Recruit the Worthy. More than likely though, we're just gonna pay a really cheap rate to get a bunch of blockers and keep ourselves alive. Notable inclusions. These are the cards I felt worthy to showcase in the build. Our cost reducers. These guys make the deck go, and being able to use them to cast through our clones and Piper is super helpful. They also do silly things with our buyback spells. The Protection Suite. This deck is designed to be able to keep you alive until we can pop off, so we run stuff like Dawn Charm to help ourselves get there. Crashing Drawbridge. Hasty clones are no joke and can sometimes take your opponent seriously by surprise, as you sometimes get to use their resources before they do. This card also can be a combo outlet for our tokens, and it helps solidify the Jim Morrison references when our deck actually has a door in it. Echo Storm. This is a really easy way to get to the magic number of cost reducers. Just one cast of Sakashima is 2 copies of something like Pearl Medallion, and one cast of each of our commanders gets us there completely. Also, it can be a win con too if you want to make things more difficult for yourself instead of just winning with Altar of the Brood or something. Plus, it can take your opponent's artifacts. Juicy Thrawn Dynamo on the other side of the board? Okay, I'll make 3. Tide Spout Tyrant. He's a win con. He's an insane clone target. He synergizes well with our cost reducers, and he protects our soft shapeshifter body by blocking and bouncing attackers. He's also a member of multiple infinite loops with our mana rocks and cost reducers and various other fucking things. It's pretty crazy. Using him in Altar the Brood is just another way to win, even though it's an expensive one. Like honestly, you could sneeze on this guy and find a way to infinitely bounce your boogers. He's nuts. Nuts, I say. Notable exclusions. These are the cards I decided not to run that you may want to consider for your own version of this build. Urza's Incubator. We do run Herald's Horn, but since there are 4 colorless Pips in Stormfront Riders and 5 in the Piper, having 1 tribal cost reducer is fine when it also helps us put clones into our hand. The Incubator could be clones with type also says Soldier, but it seemed like too many steps for me. Storm cards such as Brain Freeze and Aetherflux Reservoir. These are just cards that seemed less good in our non-storm turns and the outlets I ended up choosing. Plus, the Flux is just like putting a gigantic kick me sign on ourselves, unless you have enough life to scare people off. Helm of the Host. Powerful, but seemed too expensive. If you have a slower meta, it would be awesome for sure. Ponder, Preordain, and other cantrips. Yes, these would help us find our combo pieces faster, but I felt that linearly building towards a combo wasn't it for a deck that is built around the Prismatic freaking Piper. Like if you're gonna try that hard, we may as well play a real deck. Swithering Tithe, Cyclonic Rift, and other staples. First of all, these cards are just kind of boring, let's start with that. Second of all, they don't really help our game plan. What do these do for our deck that other cheaper cards won't also do? We don't need ridiculous blowout shit, we just need enough to get us to our combo turn. Expected meta. In this section, I break down the types of games you should look to play this deck in. This isn't really a power level discussion, as I believe those types of discussions don't actually accomplish much, but more visualization of what types of games this deck will do well in. This deck is great in slower casual metas that focus heavily on creatures. Our combo is slow and easy to disrupt enough that these types of battlecruiser-esque decks won't feel like they cannot overcome our win. We are still powerful enough though to be able to keep big creature decks on our toes. Decks like some slightly upgraded precons, tribal decks outside of the busted stuff like Cranko Goblins, and non-disruptive good stuff decks are all going to find fun, close, and exciting pods against this build. We do poorly against decks that are linearly focused on winning with combo, heavy control, or resource denial, so if someone's goal is to win at all costs, you may want to find a different deck to play against them. Holy Pipers, Batman, that was a seriously insane pile of jank. In case you missed it, we just came up with a deck that uses the Prismatic freaking Piper as an irreplaceable combo piece for our Pipers on the Storm combo. Like, honestly, where do we even go from here? Nothing else we could do could top this bullshit. If you liked this video, make sure you let us know by leaving a comment, a like, and maybe even joining our Patreon. You can see the names of our fabulous patrons scrolling on by right now. It's pretty. Joining up gets you your name in every video. And if you sign up during the month of May, we'll send you an image that you can use to get your exclusive Elder Drunken Highlander playmat off of Inked Gaming. A few of our patrons are even shipping their mats to us to sign and send back, so if that's something you want, you should become a patron. Also, we have a Twitter, Insta, Twitch, Reddit, and a bunch of other places you can spot us if you have a hankering for some jank. A jankering, if you will. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.